Lubinda fires back at HH. Let police allow us campaign freely if we're too popular.
Good day, and welcome to InspirAfrica Official.
Tonight, Zambia's political stage is heating up once again. And this time, it's given Lubinda lighting the fire. In a bold and defiant statement aimed directly at President Hakainde Hichilema, Lubinda has declared, "If we're too popular, then let the police allow us to campaign freely." It's a challenge that's shaken both the ruling UPND and the opposition PF. Because behind those words lies a much deeper question. Is democracy in Zambia thriving? Or are political freedoms being quietly suffocated? As tension grows across the country ahead of the 2026 elections, tonight we break down what Lubinda really meant, the reactions from both sides, and what this could mean for Zambia's political future.
Stay with the Stati Uniti. This story goes far beyond one messenger.
It's about the fight for fair play in a young democracy. For months, the Patriotic Front has accused the UPND government of using police power to block their rallies and silence dissent. Now, PF acting President Given Lubinda has gone public, challenging President HH to prove his commitment to democracy by allowing all parties to mobilize freely. His fiery remarks, made during a weekend address in Lusaka, have reignited the debate over political freedoms, police neutrality, and the true health of Zambia's democracy. Zambia's political tension rises as PF acting President Given Lubinda delivers a fiery message to President Hakainde Hichilema, "Let the police allow us to campaign freely if we're too popular." We dive into the heart of the statement shaking Zambia's political scene. Is Lubinda exposing a double standard in how the police handle political activities? Or is this just another power play ahead of 2026? Join us as we explore both sides of the story, with facts, context, and analysis that reveal the deeper truth behind this growing political storm.
Don't forget to like.
The revelation came to light this week when Given Lubinda sat down for an interview on Monday with News Diggers, one of Zambia's prominent independent news outlets. The interview came as a direct response to recent statements made by Cornelius Mweetwa, Zambia's chief government spokesperson and Minister of Information and Media. The background to this confrontation stretches back several weeks. In early October, tension had been building between the Patriotic Front faction led by Lubinda and the Zambia Police Service. On October 7th, Inspector General of Police Grafel Muzamba issued a stern warning to Lubinda, Raphael Nakasinda, and their team against organizing a countrywide protest. The police chief had made it clear that law enforcement would not tolerate what he termed actions or rhetoric aimed at undermining public order. That warning followed an emergency Central Committee meeting held by the PF leadership, after which the party's official Facebook page suggested they would hold a nationwide protest starting from the residence of Robert Shabinga. The police response was swift and unambiguous. Commanding officers across the country were ordered to remain on high alert and take firm action against anyone seeking to incite violence or disorder. Fast forward to late October, and the political chess match continued. Cornelius Mweetwa, in his capacity as government spokesperson, made statements regarding opposition campaign freedoms. The details of these statements suggested that there were no legal barriers preventing opposition parties from engaging with citizens and sharing their political messages. It was in response to these claims that Lubinda decided to go public with his challenge. The interview took place on Monday, October 28, 2025, and what emerged was not just a rebuttal, but a full-throated demand for clarity from the highest levels of government. The timing is significant. We are now approximately 9 months away from the August 2026 general elections. The Electoral Commission of Zambia typically designates a 3-month window before elections for official campaign activities. But opposition parties argue they should be able to mobilize and organize throughout the year, not just during this designated period. The question of when campaigning begins and what activities constitute campaigning has become a flashpoint in Zambian politics. Let's hear from Given Lubinda himself, speaking directly in that Monday interview with News Diggers. "I advise Cornelius Mweetwa to go and explain that to President Hakainde, so that President Hakainde can further instruct his Inspector General of Police that the Inspector General of Police must not stop people who are notifying him of their desire to have campaign rallies." The statement is precise. It's specific. Lubinda isn't making vague allegations. He's pointing directly at the police force and suggesting they are preventing notified rallies from taking place. But he goes further, and this is where the challenge becomes particularly pointed. Tell HH that the police should allow us to mobilize and campaign freely if he thinks we are too popular. There it is, the gauntlet thrown down. The implication is clear. The opposition believes they are being restricted precisely because they pose a political threat. And Lubinda is demanding that if President Hakainde Hichilema, commonly referred to as HH, believes the opposition enjoys significant popular support, then the police should have no reason to prevent them from campaigning. Now, this didn't happen in a vacuum. Earlier statements from Mwitwa had suggested that opposition freedoms were intact. According to reports, Mwitwa had indicated that there was no law preventing citizens from going out to interact and share their political views. The police, for their part, had earlier issued their own statement through Inspector General Muzamba. In his October warning, Muzamba said, "The Zambia Police Service will not tolerate any actions or rhetoric aimed at undermining public order and the safety of citizens. When law enforcement moves in to act, those responsible should not cry foul, as their conduct has clearly shown intent to cause public disorder. The police will act firmly and decisively." So we have three distinct narratives. Lubinda claiming restrictions exist, Mwitwa suggesting freedoms are protected, and the police warning against actions that could threaten public order. Three perspectives, each with its own logic, each painting a different picture of Zambia's political landscape. But Lubinda's challenge raises an uncomfortable question. If everything is above board, if the opposition truly has the freedom to campaign, why is a senior political figure making such specific allegations? Why would he risk his credibility by publicly demanding something he already has? To understand the full implications of this confrontation, we need to step back and look at the broader context of Zambian politics in 2025. The Patriotic Front, which governed Zambia for a decade under Edgar Chagwa Lungu, lost power in the 2021 elections to Hakainde Hichilema's United Party for National Development. That loss was decisive, and it marked a significant political shift in the country. Since then, the PF has been attempting to regroup, with Given Lubinda emerging as the acting president of the faction that remains loyal to the party's traditional leadership. The Taunts Alliance, which Lubinda chairs, represents a coalition of opposition parties attempting to present a united front against the UPND government. The name Taunts, meaning all of us in Chichewa, signals an attempt at broad-based opposition unity. But unity is one thing. Effective mobilization is another. Here's where the police issue becomes critical. In Zambia, as in many countries, political rallies and large gatherings require notification to police. This isn't unique to Zambia. It's a standard security measure designed to ensure public safety and allow law enforcement to manage traffic, crowds, and potential security threats. The controversy isn't about the notification requirement itself. It's about what happens after parties notify the police of their intention to hold rallies. Opposition figures have long complained that police often deny permission for rallies or impose conditions that make them impossible to hold. The government's position has generally been that denials are based on legitimate security concerns or because parties haven't followed proper procedures. It's a he said, she said dynamic that has characterized Zambian politics for years. But Lubinda's direct challenge to President Hichilema adds a new dimension. By suggesting that restrictions are politically motivated, specifically tied to the opposition's popularity, Lubinda is alleging that the police are being used as an instrument of political control rather than neutral law enforcement. The response from various stakeholders has been revealing. Some political analysts have pointed out that there is indeed a designated campaign period set by the Electoral Commission of Zambia. These analysts argue that allowing year-round intensive campaigning would be chaotic and would tie up police resources unnecessarily. They note that the ECZ provides a 3-month window before elections specifically for campaigns, and that if opposition parties are denied permits during this designated period, then there would be legitimate grounds for concern. Others, however, see Lubinda's challenge differently. They argue that mobilization and campaigning are not the same thing. Political parties, they contend, should be free to organize, hold meetings with constituents, and build their grassroots structures throughout the electoral cycle, not just in the final months before an election. Restricting this, they suggest, gives an unfair advantage to the ruling party, which can use government events and official visits as de facto campaign activities. The Catholic Church in Zambia has also weighed in on broader issues of democratic space. In November 2024, all 11 of Zambia's Catholic bishops released a pastoral letter expressing alarm at what they described as gross violations of human rights and undemocratic tendencies. The bishops specifically mentioned increased arrests and prolonged detentions of opposition leaders, as well as charges being brought against journalists and civil society activists. These concerns from the religious community add weight to opposition complaints. When church leaders, traditionally careful about political involvement, begin raising alarms about democratic freedoms, it suggests the issue goes beyond partisan politics. The legal and constitutional questions are also complex. Zambia's constitution guarantees freedom of assembly and association. But like most constitutional rights, these aren't absolute. They can be limited in the interests of public safety, public order, and the rights of others. The question is whether police actions represent legitimate and proportionate restrictions, or whether they cross the line into unjustified infringement of political rights. What remains unresolved is the fundamental question of evidence. Lubinda makes specific allegations about police preventing notified rallies, but the details remain murky. Which rallies? When? Under what circumstances were they denied? Without this specificity, it's difficult for outside observers to assess whether Lubinda's complaints are substantiated or whether they represent political grandstanding. Thank you so much for watching today's edition of InspirAfrica Official. This story of Given Lubinda's challenge to President Hichilema cuts to the heart of democratic governance in Zambia. As we've seen, it raises fundamental questions about political freedoms, police neutrality, and the space available for opposition voices as Zambia approaches the critical 2026 elections. We want to hear from you. What do you make of Lubinda's challenge? Do you believe opposition parties face genuine restrictions on their ability to campaign and mobilize? Or do you think these complaints are politically motivated, designed to create a narrative of victimhood? Are the police maintaining order, or are they being used as instruments of political control? Drop your thoughts in the comments section below. Let's have a constructive conversation about democracy, political freedoms, and what free and fair elections really mean. Your voice matters in this discussion. And of course, if you found this analysis valuable, please hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We'll continue to bring you in-depth coverage of Zambia's political landscape as we count down to the 2026 elections. There's much more to come, and you won't want to miss it. Until next time, this is Nakash for InspirAfrica Official, reminding you to stay informed, stay engaged, and stay committed to the democratic values that make our nation strong. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.